Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
I'm DK.
and this week we have another Survivor Series review as we are reviewing the 1998 Survivor Series. This is a pretty big show for a lot of reasons, DK.
Yeah, well, 98 was one of the biggest years. Figured, I believe I just said we should do another Survivor Series before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
And you said 98. I said, okay, let's
yeah,
do
because
it.
that was like I had like two in my head, and the other one I was like,
This is
maybe
like
we
the
could save that
first,
for another time.
this is like the first time that they didn't have the elimination matches.
Yeah, and yeah, good thing you
Like they
mentioned
have
that.
elimination matches, but not in traditional Survivor
Exactly. Yeah.
tournament.
Now actually, you know what? I had done a little bit of research. Gonna go off a little off topic of this Survivor Series we're gonna review.
Sure.
Because you had mentioned in our last episode, and I didn't realize it at the time when you said it, that none of the champions survived that first Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So I did a little research because that's the type of person I am. Is I have to find the answer.
We like to be prepared for our
Yeah,
shows.
yeah. It has only happened one other time where the heavyweight champion, the intercontinental champion, and the tag champions did not survive a Survivor Series.
You say it happened on one more time?
One more time.
Okay.
And that was the 93 Survivor Series.
Really? Okay.
Razor Ramon was the Intercontinental Champion, was counted out, although he didn't leave like a coward like Honky Tonk Man did.
Yeah.
Jacques, who was one half of the tag champions, was pinned. And Yokozuna, the WWF champion, was counted out. And then the other half of the tag champs wasn't even on the show. So,
Oh, so technically.
yeah, I'm gonna still count it. You know,
Okay. He didn't lose, didn't win, wasn't even on the show. Like
exactly.
who was it?
Uh, that was Pierre of the Quebecers.
Oh man, girl beer.
All right. Now,
Delicate.
normally on this wonderful podcast that you all are listening to,
Why do you sound so sarcastic? It is a
well,
wonderful.
I'm trying not to be sarcastic. If it came off sarcastic, I apologize. We usually like to have a topic to discuss before we get into whatever we're going to do. Oh, do we have a topic?
Oh, do we?
Yes, we do. As soon as I
Oh
say,
yeah. Oh
yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
So
I guess Seth is helping her with helping the kid with homework, right?
okay. So we got to set this stage up. So over the
Zero.
last, over the last couple of years, WWE they've sent wrestlers to be on game shows. Xavier Woods was on Wheel of Fortune last year, did pretty good. They've done a couple episodes of Celebrity Family Feud. And this year, Becky Lynch was to compete on Celebrity Jeopardy. Now, Jeopardy, everybody knows Jeopardy. It's a hard game show. You got to know everything. Well, you got to know most things. So Becky Lynch is playing against Macaulay Culkin from the Home Alone movies and other movies too, and Rachel Dratch from Saturday Night Live. Becky Lynch made history on Jeopardy, but for the wrong reasons.
She went Detroit Lions 0-16 here.
Yeah, and it was more than 0-16. According to the Jeopardy fan on Twitter, Becky Lynch is the first contestant in the history of Jeopardy to have 0 correct answers on the 60 clues.
So what was her score? Like minus like 18,000 or something? Like, did she have to pay all that money to the charity?
Well, okay. So I have a little bit of the detail. She got 0 correct. And when she buzzed in, she got the answer wrong 5 times. Yeah. So
But,
what
like,
they
question?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I meant to say. She didn't give the correct question.
Okay.
So, because this is Celebrity Jeopardy and they're playing for charities,
Jesus.
they did not let Becky Lynch, leave. So what they did, I had to watch like a few minutes of video.
Man.
They let her play Final Jeopardy. They gave her $500 to play with on Final Jeopardy.
She lost it. Poor kids.
She got it right.
She got it right?
The one question she gets right is the Final Jeopardy question.
They probably told her what the answer was during commercial break. Hey, Becky, do you know this one?
So, okay,
Oh, Jesus.
you guys don't really need to know what it, unless you really want to know. It
What was it?
was the category was artists.
Okay.
The answer was Salvador Dali.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would know that one.
Yeah, I don't think I would have,
But she
because
knew that?
artists could mean, musical artist, could mean
Artist is a
painting.
very vague term.
Yeah. So in the end, for those that are curious, Rachel Dratch beat Macaulay Culkin by $1.
Really?
$1.
Well,
Becky Lynch was playing for the V Foundation and Connor's Cure. I would like to make a joke, but I'm going to choose better judgment here. And
I think you should. Oh, man.
okay, like
Bad.
I'll say this:
That's bad.
Family Feud is one thing, like if you mess up, it's okay.
Yeah. You got your brother or your sister or your
Yeah,
cousin.
your
Hell yeah.
friend, whoever.
It will make fun of you at Thanksgiving, but,
Jeopardy. I mean, you got to get at least one right during the game. I mean, I feel bad for. I do feel bad for Becky because I think she's a wonderful person. But my God, girl, you didn't get anything right.
yeah, but I want to go 10 in a row. I just probably like walk out the stage, be like, you know what?
I'm gonna leave on a good note. I
You
mean,
probably should go back there and tag Seth, and Seth comes in for the second half.
Sorry, Becky, I'm doing my dancing.
I know you don't like him, but he's the best guy in the industry right now.
That's probably what he was doing. But
You think he has his theme song as his ringtone? I bet he
that's
does.
surprised.
And then he never answers the phone. He's just dancing in the kitchen.
I would like if they send another WWE person to do Celebrity Jeopardy. I'd like to see who they get for next season.
I think if they do that again, they will probably test them over the phone. And
Dude,
like, oh, you got 0 out of 10. So
I've tried the Jeopardy, like the Jeopardy audition quiz. That's a hard thing. It
yeah.
really is.
And I think it's a lot harder when you're there and then they ask you the question and you got to buzz and then you got to like think about it. You got all that pressure on you.
And the thing is,
I'm not gonna mock her too much. It's still kind of funny that she.
and the thing is, in one of the categories that I watched, like the video of, had Becky buzzed in time, she would have gotten the answer right.
Yeah.
She just didn't have the courage to do it.
Come on, Beck.
You're Big Tom Bex.
I don't know if she can have that nickname anymore. She's 0 time Bex now.
How long do you think that joke's going to run on WWE programming?
I don't know.
Probably a couple of weeks.
1 time Bex.
You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see Ken Jennings at WrestleMania next year now.
Yes.
Like
I want Ken Jennings to win the Royal Rumble.
headline WrestleMania. He should be the one that ends Roman Reigns' streak.
Yes. Nobody would see it coming. I bet you Roman Reigns would do really good at Jeopardy.
I think he would. I mean, he graduated.
Like he seems like one of those guys that's probably really smart about useless facts.
I mean, he graduated from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's not an easy school to go through. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure that Roman Reigns, even though he wasn't at Georgia Tech on November 15th, 1998, would have probably watched the Survivor Series in his dorm if he was in college at the time. Because this is a really big show. Because this is the Deadly Games tournament. So to kind of do a quick backstory, in September, Stone Cold Steve Austin lost the WWF title in a triple threat match. Mr. McMahon says, Kane, Undertaker, you two are going to battle each other at the next pay-per-view to determine the WWF champion, and Stone Cold's going to be the guest referee. Well, we have the match, and there's no champion. So Vince,
don't you remember he counted to 3 and he was the winner?
Yeah, he did.
The ref has final decision, so I don't know why he wasn't champion.
I don't know. So Mr. McMahon decides, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a 14-man single elimination tournament to determine the WWF champion. We're going to do it at the Survivor Series. So, like DK said, this is the first Survivor Series where there are no traditional Survivor Series elimination matches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things that's like very interesting, where it's like you've watched for so long and then you find out that it's like the first one not to have it. And it's like, wow.
Do you think they did something different here because of what happened the year before?
Probably.
The stuff with Brett, just kind of like to, change it up a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So we get a very interesting build to the show. Because Austin's in the tournament, Kane and Undertaker are going to get first round buys in the tournament.
Which reminded me of WrestleMania 4,
which happened 10 years prior. So,
yeah.
Mankind has kind of become Vince's chosen one to win the title.
This is where the whole like wearing the dress shirts started.
Yeah. And then you have The Rock. Now, The Rock's gaining popularity at this time.
Yeah.
Now, 2 weeks before the Survivor Series, he loses his spot in the tournament because he was in a match with Ken Shamrock, and he had to win the match by a pin or a submission to stay in the tournament. He won by disqualification, so he's out of the tournament. So the next week on Raw, Vince is like, I'll give you your spot back, but you have to beat Mark Henry. And if you don't win this match, you're fired. So they have the match. Rock wins with a little help from Shane McMahon. We'll get to Shane in a little bit. And The Rock is now back in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got really a really good story, good number of stories going into this Survivor Series. Now, of course, being that this is a pay-per-view, we have to do around the wrestling world, and we actually did have a show taking place on the same day as the Survivor Series. It is an ECW show in Revere, Massachusetts. They had almost 1,300 people in the building for their show. Here are the results from this show. Chris Chetty defeated Skull Von Crush. I know, great name.
Skull Von Crush?
Yep.
Sound like a real person.
Tracy Smothers, Tommy Rich, and Little Guido defeated Supernova, the Blue Meanie, and Mikey Whipwreck. Chris Candido defeated Mike Lozansky. Taz defeated John Cronus. The Dudley Boys defeated Masato Tanaka and Balls Mahoney to keep the ECW tag titles. Sabu defeated the Amish Roadkill.
Wow.
Rob Van Dam defeated Jerry Lynn to retain the ECW television title. And your main event, Tommy Dreamer, New Jack, and Spike Dudley defeated Justin Credible, Jason Knight, and Rod Price in a street fight.
Wow. I recognize some of those names.
Yeah, there are some recognizable names on that card. Now a little later on, we're not going to do it now, but a little later on, we're going to dive into the Thanksgiving portion because I think we're going to start doing that with Survivor Series just to have fun.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the first Survivor Series that doesn't happen like the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll get to it in a little bit, but we're going to compare some numbers real quick from the previous Survivor Series, the one in Montreal. So Montreal, they had an attendance of 20,593 with a gate of $371,000. They had a pay-per-view buy rate of a 0.89, which for that time is actually pretty good. This year's Survivor Series that we're going to do, well, the attendance, let's say the attendance is a little debatable. On the show, they say the attendance is 21,179. According to the history of WWE, the real attendance is 19,322 with 17,966 paid. But it is a sellout crowd.
Okay. This is the same building Bad Blood was in, right?
Yeah, Kiel Auditorium or Kiel Center. They have a gate of $470,845, and their buy rate for the Survivor Series is 400,780, which rounds up to a 1.3.
Wow.
So they did really, really good. Numbers wise, money wise, pretty much everything. They did pretty good. Okay. We'll briefly talk about, because we had not only a dark match, but we had matches for Sunday Night Heat.
Oh God.
Yeah.
My favorite show.
So the dark match, which did not air on TV, Too Much defeated the Hardy Boys.
Wow. They were still too much in 98, eh?
Yeah.
Or before they became too cool.
Yep.
Grandmaster Sexy.
It's Grandmaster Sexy.
Nothing brings me more joy than listening to JR say that. Grandmaster Sexy.
On Heat, Bob Holly and Scorpio defeated the Legion of Doom, Animal and Droz. Val Venus defeated Tiger Ali Singh, and Gangrel defeated Steve Blackman.
Jeez, why do they even have to have the pay-per-view? Like main eventers back to back.
I know, right?
Draws?
Yeah.
Damn. That shouldn't have been the Legion of Doom. They should have came up with a new name. Like, come on.
All right. So, going to ask, did you see the show when it happened?
I did.
All right. I did not, but I had a good reason.
Okay.
I, that day, went to see the Redskins play the Philadelphia Eagles with my brother,
Okay.
and they won that day.
Definitely watching football.
Yeah. It was a 1:00 game, and because I knew my parents weren't going to let me get a pay-per-view after going to a Redskins game. So
That might have been just the best day you've ever had in your life.
not at 13. At 23, maybe I could have gotten away with it, but not at 13.
Yeah.
On a side note, the day before, my cousin's third kid was born the day before on the 14th.
Okay.
And he just turned 25, believe it or not.
Yeah. This is the 25th anniversary, right?
Yeah. Of his birth. And the show as well.
Any major thing that happened in 98 is 25 this year. That's
unbelievable.
Like King of the Ring when Foley got thrown out the cell earlier. Check it out in the archives. It was one of our better shows.
The Inferno match.
Yeah, Inferno. We've done a few 98s.
So 98. I'm going to be on. I don't think I've said this yet. 98 is one of my favorite wrestling years ever.
For sure.
Oh my God.
All promotions, not just.
That was peak fandom.
Yep. WCW was like between 96 to 99 was I really got into that. 98 was really good for them too. So
now,
good stuff.
One more thing, and then we're going to get to the show. So what I told DK prior to the show is we're going to rank the rounds of the tournament. So you guys will hear from us which round we thought was the best and which one we thought was the worst. What I didn't tell DK, and you're going to be a little relieved for this, okay? Because this is a tournament, you will not do Dave Meltzer's ratings for the first 2 rounds of the tournament.
Oh, good.
I'm giving you a Thanksgiving break. I will mention at the end of each round what the ratings were, but for the first 2 rounds, I'm not making you guess. I'm just not.
Sure.
All right. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. This is Survivor Series 1998 Deadly Games. And we begin with a nice video package. And after we get the pyro and JR and the King talk, we are introduced to Mr. McMahon, who is in a wheelchair because he's got a boo-boo on his ankle.
Was that like Kane or Undertaker? Or
it was both of them. No. So Mr. McMahon does an introduction for Mankind. And he's got a new belt. We didn't talk about this a few minutes ago. He's got the hardcore title, baby.
Yeah. And this was the Winged Eagle.
Yeah.
Got messed up. Turned into the hardcore championship.
So the way the bracketing is done is Mankind has a mystery opponent for the first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember reading people saying this is going to be Shawn Michaels. He's coming back.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. The crowd was chatting.
Oh, they were.
And then freaking Gilbert comes out.
Yep. So Vince Okay, so Vince pulls out the reading glasses and he has a prepared introduction for the mystery opponent. So he's like, this great competitor began in 1990 and wrestled on the ring in the ring of the World Wrestling Federation. And then he decided to go to other pastures to go to WCW. And then that's when the crowd boos and they're like,
Daniel, right?
yeah, it ain't Shawn Michaels. So
You said he was
then
gonna.
he mentions that this individual is coming back from a shoulder injury. And he is the head coach of the Pasadena Chargers football team, Dwayne Gill.
Which was true.
It is true. It is Pasadena, Maryland, because he actually lived in the Baltimore area when I was
Oh,
living in Maryland. And he
so
actually
let me ask you a question.
okay,
When this was coming out, I know you didn't watch it live. Did you have any indication on who this mystery opponent would be?
not a clue.
I didn't think it was going to be Sean. Watch it
Yeah.
live, and I think Triple H was supposed to be this in his spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if it would have been with Mankind the way they're doing the storylines,
Right.
but he was also injured. So like I was actually like I love mystery opponents when you
Yeah.
don't know who's coming out. It's always kind of cool. But yes,
Yeah, I
total
wasn't
letdown, total letdown with the crowd when
I I mean I
yep.
wasn't at that time, I didn't know anything about dirt sheets or anything, so
Yeah, I tried to avoid that. I don't think they had dirt sheets
no.
really.
But I love Jerry's reaction, like Dwayne Gill, and then he's like, JR, it's Dwayne Gill. Now I am gonna mention real quick, Dwayne Gill many years later opened up a wrestling school.
Did someone was someone going to show him how to wrestle at it?
He was going to teach.
He was going to teach.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna say this because this isn't mentioned a lot. He had a wrestling school for a little while.
Yeah.
And then one of his students died while training. And a friend of mine knew the person that died.
Okay.
So basically, because of that incident, they had to close the school down.
Damn.
But there is one person that that graduated from the Gilbert Wrestling School, and she's on WWE programming each and every week. WWE referee Jessica Carr.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say it was Becky Lynch. Dwayne Gill taught her every Jeopardy fact that
Right.
she
Okay.
knows. It was a nice segue.
So we could just tell you the whole match in one sentence. Mankind beats up Dwayne Gill, hits a double arm DDT, rolls him up with a 3/4 Nelson. 1, 2, 3. Mankind wins.
Yep. And they're starting to kind of set the storyline for this tournament. Mankind is the chosen one.
He's the chosen.
Dude, he's the opposite of Stone Cold, opposite of The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Mankind is going to be the corporate champion here.
Yeah.
They just get him there.
All right. I'm gonna be honest. I had a hard time giving this any kind of rating.
Are we
So,
rating each match or are we doing the rounds?
I mean, I did. You don't, I mean, like, if you didn't, that's fine. I
I
didn't, I ended up not giving this match a rating. It's a 30-second squash match.
there's a few matches that way, so maybe we should just do the rounds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we
Maybe
get
we gave it like 4.5 stars.
oh no, that wasn't 4. All right. So we get a quick video recap. Sable got attacked by Jacqueline earlier on Sunday Night Heat. She cuts a backstage promo saying that she's now more determined than ever to win the WWF Women's title. Yay. All right, we go on to our next first round match. It is Jeff Jarrett versus Al Snow.
Yeah, this match was pretty boring. They kind of just they were setting up Al Snow here for the victory.
Mm-hmm.
It took too long to get there. Even in a shorter match, it was like longer than the first one, but I'm like just couldn't get into it at all. I didn't like the match, but like it's a first round matchup of two guys that if you're watching this for the first time, you know Jeff Jarrett and Al Snow are not winning the WWF title.
Right.
So why am I watching this? Why am I getting into it? Sometimes these more numbered tournaments, just kind of hard to get into it. So yeah, I wasn't a huge fan, but Al Snow gets the win. I kind of thought Jarrett would win this, and when I rewatched it, I kind of forgot what happened in the first round. Like I remember some of the key points.
Yeah.
There was a few things I did forget about Al Snow getting the win here. So
One of the things that is kind of a problem with the show, and there aren't that many problems with this show, is the time limits for the 3 rounds before the finals, especially the first round. The first round's a 10-minute time limit. So you barely get any chance to really get any kind of a story going in your match because you have to wrap it up very quickly. So that's going to be a big issue with the first round of the tournament, but as the tournament goes on, I think it gets better. Okay, on to our next first round match, the Big Boss Man versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
yeah, this was more of a storyline match than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was kind of like Boss Man's out there to injure Stone Cold, and this is like kind of like when I watched this live. This is where I was a big Stone Cold fan. Wanted him to win the title back. Didn't think he would do it in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how are they gonna do it?
Right.
Stone Cold doesn't win. And then when I saw his face on the Boss Man, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it. I did like the match,
Mm-hmm.
like the way they did it.
And what's good about this match and the result, because Austin wins by disqualification, is there's going to be no repercussion for the Big Boss Man for losing this match from Vince. Because it's obvious Vince doesn't want Austin to win, and the Boss Man's only there to beat up Austin. So if you injure him to the point where he can't continue in the tournament, then the Boss Man has done his job. And this is where, going back to what DK said with the first match, this is where the storytelling becomes really, really good. So, after the match, Michael Cole interviews Vince saying, "Aren't you disappointed with the result?" And Vince is like, "Oh, the night is young."
Mm-hmm. He has a plan.
He does. He does. All right, we go to our next first round match. It is X-Pac versus a real man's man, Steven Regal.
The best version of Regal.
Oh, this Steve song is so great.
The man.
Such a man.
He walked down the aisle with that look on his face, wearing the hard hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus. Can you imagine like pitching that idea to him? All right, so you're gonna be a construction worker. You're a man. You're a man, pal.
You're a real man.
You're a real man's man. I love it.
I think at that point, Regal's like, "I'll take anything.
I don't care. There's zeros on my check. I will wear a hard hat.
As long as I don't have to wrestle Bill Goldberg again."
Yeah. Jesus. That'd be a good watch along episode, man.
Oh yeah. So this is
I'm serious.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen. I might have seen it once. I don't know. This is the longest match of the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, it goes the whole time limit.
Pretty
It?
much,
Is
nearly
that
the
what
time limit.
was it? Double count out?
Yeah. So the match ends in a double countout. So here's
Super
where
strange. Super strange. Okay, this is the part I didn't get. Ends in double count out, right? Then Vince sends Slaughter out
right,
to start it again because the winner of this match is facing Stone Cold.
right.
Stone Cold's going to get a bye if nothing happens here. He sends out Slaughter to do overtime, and then nothing.
Xbox,
Like the wrestlers just go, "Nah, I'm good."
Xbox, like screw it. I'm hurt. I'm not
Yeah.
going anymore.
So like, I always thought, I'm like, were they supposed to go to overtime here, and then they just scrapped it because like somebody was actually hurt, or was it all part of the storyline and just for Austin to get that bye? Because it didn't make sense for him to
It
have a
didn't.
bye.
It really didn't.
It didn't make any sense for him to have a bye when they had the injury angle.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, he would have had to beat X Pac, or
Or Regal.
I'm assuming it would have been William Regal
Mm-hmm.
facing Stone Cold, because X Pac versus Stone Cold would have been a really weird matchup.
It would have. Yeah.
For him to overcome that, to go on to face the next opponent.
And I love Vince's reaction. He's like, Austin gets a bye. Austin gets a bye.
Yeah. That's why like it made no sense with the way they were booking this show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so they're giving the biggest babyface a bye
A bye.
after a double count out between two heels. Like what? Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, the match was honestly the first round. I was not a big fan of the first round matchups.
All right. Then we got Ken Shamrock versus Goldust.
Oh, this was a travesty. Jesus. Ken Shamrock's the heel here. Goldust is the babyface. Okay,
Yeah.
that's weird from that.
Like
Shamrock had like turned heel like a few months prior or something, and it was like part of the corporation. He's the Intercontinental Champion. Goldust is the fan favorite, I guess. This is another one of those first round matchups that I was talking about where I didn't think Ken Shamrock won King of the Ring.
Yeah, and he won the Intercontinental title.
I did not think he was going to win at all. I thought I thought it was either going to be the Undertaker or Stone Cold that won this tournament from like when I looked at the bracket.
Right.
So I didn't expect Ken Shamrock or Goldust. Like that would have been freaking awesome. Honestly, if Goldust goes all the way through and wins the title, would have been like the coolest story ever.
Right. I mean, honestly, going into the tournament, I thought either Austin or Mankind was going to win the title.
You didn't think Mankind? I didn't see him being there. It just didn't make sense. But I'm like, why would they take the belt off Austin for him just to win it right back at a tournament?
So Shamrock, he wins the match with an ankle lock.
Yeah.
So now we go to the final match of the first round of the tournament. It is scheduled to be The Rock versus Triple H. So Rock comes out, he gets a big.
That's okay. That's the part where Triple H is supposed to be.
Triple H music plays. And out comes Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. Okay, Gerald Briscoe's so good in this part. He's like, Mr. McMahon has told me that I can make the next announcement.
Weren't they doing like the DX?
They were trying to do the DX chop, yeah. Triple H is not here tonight. We sent him a ticket to be here at the show. And Mr. McMahon has informed me that when Triple H comes back, I can find him real heavily. Oh, okay. And then Patterson gets on the mic and he's like, Rock, you think you're going to get a bye to the second round, but no, you're not. Because you're going to have a match and you're going to face the big boss man. And JR, hold on.
Big Boss Man was the star of the show.
Oh, they changing the tournament as it goes. Boss man was already eliminated. So,
My
Boss
favorite part
man.
about JR being the babyface commentator is he was surprised every night when Vince would try to fuck everybody over.
He is so like super babyface announcer on this show.
And like I read JR's books.
Mm-hmm.
He said in his book that he never knew the outcomes because he wanted his commentary to be authentic. So like when Big Boss Man came out, he probably didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
He's already been eliminated.
All right. So here's the match. Bell rings. Rock puts a small package on. 1, 2, 3. Bell rings. Rock wins.
Boss Man's 0-2, and he's still the star of the show for me.
Oh boy. Okay.
The Boss Man's doing his best Becky Lynch impression.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've gone through the first round, I'll quickly go through what Meltzer gave each match.
Oh, I thought we didn't have to talk about him.
No. You weren't going to guess the first two rounds.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to briefly mention it.
All right.
He gave no rating to Mankind and Dwayne Gill. He gave Al Snow and Jeff Jarrett a dud. He gave Austin and the Big Boss Man half a star. He gave X-Pac and Regal 3/4 of a star. He gave Shamrock and Goldust half a star. And he gave no rating for Rock and Boss Man.
Damn, I hate that because I kind of agree with him. That's disappointing. Might need to rethink my whole philosophy.
Yeah. All right. So now we go to the quarterfinals of the tournament. And we begin with The Undertaker versus Kane. They got the buys in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched the match that they had in Unforgiven earlier this year. We've talked about the match they had at WrestleMania, which was really good. This one is kind of a letdown to me.
Yeah.
Because
see, my thing is they weren't given the time.
Exactly.
Because their WrestleMania match was like 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Their Inferno match was around that time too. You need time to set the stage with these two guys.
Yeah, you really do.
And they almost at this point they almost didn't have a whole lot to fight about anymore.
Yeah.
Like when it was I'm getting revenge for my parents because you killed them at the beginning of the whole thing. Like that, it was exciting. But I think we had seen Undertaker and Kane enough in '98 at this point where we're just like, okay, I don't
yeah. So the end of the match, Kane tries to go for a choke slam. Paul Bearer distracts him. Undertaker gets Kane in a tombstone. As he pins him, Paul Bearer holds Kane's foot down for good measure. Undertaker advances to the semifinals.
And it was really strange. This, like, Undertaker goes from baby to heel here in the summer.
Yeah.
And then Paul Bearer's just back with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't really remember. Like, I know, like, Paul Bearer turns on Kane in that match they have. I think Austin's a ref. Is
Yeah.
that what happens? And it just like didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really didn't.
Now, Undertaker as a heel with Ministry of Darkness was pretty good, I thought, but still kind of strange because fans are always going to cheer for him.
And then the strange thing is, like, when you think about Undertaker in 98, he's like the number 2 baby face in the company. Because Austin's clearly number 1. And
At,
Rock's,
in mid '98.
yeah, and Rock's, he's a heel for most of that year.
Yeah, just
So,
flipped them honestly.
yeah, it
Like
didn't really make,
we can't have more than 2 baby faces. So
yeah. All right. So we go to our next match. It is Mankind versus Al Snow. And there's a story to this one. The story is Mr. Sacco had been stolen a few weeks ago, and it had been placed on head. Well, Al's kind of not really paying attention, and Mankind has been the whole corporate thing. So during the match, Vince tells Patterson and Briscoe, wait till Mick sees Sacco. Oh, is he gonna have a reaction? And JR's like, so it was Mr. McMahon who stole Sacco. Oh, how could he? Sacco. So Mick does see Sacco. He gets it back. And the end of the match, he's able to put Mr. Sacco in Al Snow's mouth. Al passes out. Mankind advances.
yeah, like the commentary was amazing.
It's good. The commentary is really good at this whole show.
Yeah, this the second round was a lot better than the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is like a believable victory for Mankind. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked the booking here
So now we go to the final match of the quarterfinals
because Austin has a bye.
because Austin has a bye. Ken Shamrock versus The Rock. Now, before we get into this match, DK, again, I had to do research. This is the 8th time Shamrock and The Rock have faced each other on pay-per-view in 1998.
Oh yeah, they were facing each other almost
Just
every
every
week
month.
for a while.
They fought twice at the Royal Rumble. They were in a 10-man tag at No Way Out. Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. 6-man tag at Unforgiven. Finals of King of the Ring. They're in a triple threat steel cage match. And now they're in this. The 8th time this year.
And that's not counting all the house shows they had in between the pay-per-views. They probably wrestled about 150 times a night.
Right?
Seriously, they probably did.
They did. I believe you.
That's why I think that's why they had great matches because they had good chemistry.
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Okay. Yeah, like Shamrock's the heel here, Rock's the baby face. It was strange.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was happening with this tournament, and it was kind of bothering me. Like when I watched it when it was live, I'm like, because you got The Rock, he's doing things. Austin's already into the next round. Like there was so many good like all-star caliber wrestlers still
Mm-hmm.
where like anybody could win and it was really exciting. And Dwayne with the beautiful interception of the
Yes.
pink
Oh, it
stick.
was so good.
And I think even JR, I think he even acknowledges that and says something about his Hurricanes days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like Boss Man tosses the nightstick. He looked like he was legitimately tossing it
The Shamrock.
to Shamrock because Shamrock's an incorporation. Rock intercepts it. So if all this is happening, like if you go on the back and you're Shamrock, you start asking questions like, "What's happening here? Why
Yeah, what the hell, man?
you screwed me over? We're supposed to beat the Rock." So, but yeah, it was big win for Dwayne here.
Yeah. So our semifinals are set. The Undertaker will face The Rock. Mankind will face Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Now, did you think we're getting our Austin Rock finals here?
I wasn't sure.
I didn't think so
Maybe.
because The
Yeah.
Rock was babyface, Austin's babyface. I know people say that I read too much into that, but rarely that happens.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so real quick, this is how Meltzer rated the quarterfinal matches. Undertaker and Kane, he gave it a dud. Mankind and Al Snow, he gave it half a star. Rock and Shamrock, he gave 2.5 stars.
really,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
All right. So now we're going to take a break from the tournament because it is time for the WWF Women's Championship match. Sable challenging Jacqueline. Now, the ref for this match is Shane McMahon. So, how did he become a referee, you're wondering? Well, we got to go back a little bit.
Yep.
So, everyone knows at the previous pay-per-view, Austin got fired. The next night on Raw, he put an envelope in Vince's coat pocket. What we find out is Austin got a 5-year contract, brand new, that includes a title shot in the future. Okay, well, Vince didn't make the decision. Who did? It was Shane. Shane's the one who made the deal. And he goes into this whole thing about like, I never wanted to be like you, Dad.
Yeah, he stood up to his father.
He did. So Vince, being the father of the year that he is, decides to punish his son. He's like, you're gonna work where you started, as a referee.
Totally belittles all the referees in the company.
I know, right? And this is like the best time for the referees because you have Earl Hebner, Tim White, Mike Chioda, Jack Doan, Jimmy Corderas.
Yep.
That's a really good
They
crew of
didn't really
referees. Yeah. Um. Okay. I'm gonna briefly go through this match.
Can I tell you something?
Go right ahead.
I skipped this shit.
Good.
I was like, I thought we were just gonna review the tournament. I just skipped it. I was like, I don't need to see Sable wrestle ever again if I don't have to.
Well, at least she kept her clothes on this time.
That was a weird thing for a guy to say.
She beats up Marrow. Jacqueline gets some advantage. Then she went for a moonsault and missed. Sable hit the Sable bomb. 1, 2, 3. Sable is the new women's champion.
Yay.
Yay.
Round of applause.
And you know what? I'm not even going to make you guess Meltzer's rating for this one.
Oh, he probably gave it 3.5 stars. It's probably the top match of the night.
He gave it 1 star.
Jesus Christ. Okay, the first round, there was no 1 stars, right? Everything was like half or quarter.
Like the highest was like 3/4.
So he gives a dud to Al Snow and Jeff Jarrett. It's not like I'm saying that match was great because I didn't think it was that great either.
Right.
But come on, Sable and Jacqueline. This is
I know. Again, Meltzer never changes his ratings.
I hate that guy.
But this is where the show, honestly, because like at this point, to me, I don't know about you. To me, I'm like, okay, this is a good show up to this point. Like, you don't have, the big, great, however 20-25 minute matches.
They're building up to it.
Exactly. The
That's what makes
story is getting good.
and the time limit of the matches were gradually getting longer, which I liked.
Now you hit, really, to me, the moment that makes the show go from being a good show to a great show. First semifinal match, Mankind versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon gets wheeled out to ringside, and Austin early goes for the stunner. Mankind gets out of there, and he gets out of there so much that he runs all the way almost right back up the entrance.
I know he's running away.
But that's really good.
Why isn't the ref counting?
Oh, I'm sure Vince was like, "Don't count him."
Yeah.
So here you have Vince out. You got Patterson, Briscoe, and Slaughter out. So really, Austin's got the odds stacked against him. And this is a really good back and forth match. And it goes back to what you and I had said separately during this review, is the time needed to be built up.
Exactly.
This is the first match that goes 10 plus minutes.
Really?
Yeah. So then we get, this is one of the best endings I think I've ever seen to a match.
Yeah.
Mankind gets the mandible claw on Austin. Austin hits a stunner. Referee counts. 1, 2. Vince gets out of his wheelchair, pulls the referee out. Slaughter holds the ref, and Vince sucker punches the referee.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So on the second time, Austin stuns Mankind almost out of his dress pants because his dress pants fell down.
Yeah.
So Austin's got the pin. There's no referee. Here comes Shane. He's running down to the ring. Everyone in the building is like, this is it. 1, 2. He stopped.
Yeah.
And then
Austin turns around.
the double bird. And
Yeah.
Austin has this look of, what the fuck?
It's such good theater.
It's perfect. And JR loses it. He freaking loses his mind.
It's his buddy, Stone Cold, getting screwed at Survivor Series. It's happened last year.
So what happens is Mankind kind of attacks Austin from behind, but Austin fights back.
Yeah.
Patterson and Briscoe go in the ring and have to hit Austin with a chair. And there's a story to this that I'm going to get to in a minute. So they hit Austin with the chair. Mankind gets on top. 1, 2, 3. Mankind wins? What?
Yeah. Stone Cold loses before the finals.
Before the finals. And you see Vince and all of them like skipping away to the back.
Down the aisle, like, yeah,
and then JR's like, Stone Cold has been screwed at the Survivor Series. Where have you heard that before? So they
real life stuff.
So they get to their limo. Austin is chasing behind them. Austin I'm just gonna call it like it is. He hijacks a car.
Yeah.
And chases the limo.
Sure. Like you do.
like like a normal person would. Now, have you ever heard what was originally supposed to happen?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. I didn't know this till a couple years ago. This is so funny.
Okay.
What was originally supposed to happen was the big boss man was supposed to come out to the ring
Yeah.
and attack Austin when Patterson and Briscoe did the chair shot.
Yeah.
According to legend,
You know what? I think I did hear that before.
according to legend, the big boss man was talking to the Undertaker backstage and missed the spot.
That's awesome. Okay. Then he like looks up at the monitor and he's like, oh shit.
Oh, I gotta be out there. Bye.
Yeah. He was just talking to Undertaker. Like,
Yeah.
hey, so, your match is after this, eh? Are you
Hey,
nervous?
hey Ray, aren't you supposed to be out there? What do you mean? Oh
Oh,
shit.
Mr. McMahon's gonna be pissed.
Oh man. I hadn't heard that story till like a few years ago. That is
You know, I think I did hear something about that. Now that I remember.
yeah. All right.
Or
Now we're
was
gonna now we're gonna go to the other semifinal match. Undertaker versus The Rock. I'll let you take this one.
okay. Yeah, so like this had been a rivalry for when?
Like a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, like yeah, you know what? I think I'm thinking of 99. So
Yeah,
this like
99.
maybe the beginning of the rivalry
Mm-hmm.
then. Yeah, so Undertaker versus The Rock. The Rock is now, I would say, the fan favorite
Yeah.
because Austin's out. Like I still think the fans would want Austin to win over The Rock, even though The Rock had really gained a lot of popularity. So then you got the Undertaker, you got The Rock here. I think, yeah, you know what? It was strange for me because Mankind had already won.
Mm-hmm.
He's waiting for them. So you kind of assume it's going to be The Rock and Mankind, but then
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. And then like the end was so awesome. Like a lot of people hated it. I always said that. I'm like, why don't you just run in and attack his opponent?
And cost the
Because we
person.
used to do that when we were playing PlayStation. When we were trying to mess with our buddy, we'd like come in and interfere in a match and like attack his opponent. And there was DQ, and he was mad.
Right.
And like that's kind of like I loved it. Like Kane comes in and just like choke slams the Rock, and
Now,
then
can I ask one question though?
sure,
Why did the Undertaker let go of the choke slam? I don't get that. That's the only thing I don't get.
he let go of the choke slam. I'm
Because
trying
like
to,
he was gonna choke slam Rock.
yeah,
Kane comes in and then
yeah.
it's like he kind of lets go and kind of pushes Rock into
Well, he's
Kane.
probably just like distracted by Kane. Like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're a big brother or your little brother.
So Rock wins by disqualification as Kane and Undertaker fight to the back through the crowd. And we have our finals.
Yeah.
Mankind and The Rock. Um, real quick, I'll mention Meltzer gave Austin and Mankind 3 stars.
It for me, it's the match, definitely the match of the night. Like,
It's
like the Rock,
close.
like the Rock and Mankind, like the match we're about to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close. It's pretty good final.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Austin Mankind match is pretty good.
He gave Rock and Undertaker 3/4 of a star. All right. Now, Mankind cuts a promo in the back, and he says, "I'm going to be champion. If you hold on, you know what? I got to do this right. Excuse me a minute.
He's got Mr. Socko. And he's using his sock he's wearing on his foot.
It's
Not
it's
even
called
a sock.
improv, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
If you smell what the sock is cooking."
That's some nice improv right there,
Oh,
buddy.
improvisation.
For the majority of our listeners, they listen. You don't get to see our beautiful faces. He
A 38-year-old man just put a sock on his hand.
took his sock off his foot that he was put it on his hand, stuck it up to the camera, and then took it off his hand and put it back on his foot.
Don't worry. I'll wash my hands when this is over.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Now we have one more match before the finals. It's a triple threat match for the tag titles.
Yeah, I kind of I kind of ignored these non-tournament matches.
Okay, I'm gonna be super quick with this review because there's two things I remember from this match most than the entire match itself. The first one is after the Outlaws come in the ring, there is a camera shot. And I kid you not, if you've never seen this show, please look it up. 4 rows of people holding this long side of the Outlaws intro. And it has everything word for word.
Yep. That was on paper too, right?
Fantastic. It's like the best side ever. And then the other part, and because I watched this on the cock, I was like, did they keep this part in? Because I'll talk about my major complaint at the end of the show, or at the end of this review.
I think I know.
They kind of did with this one. Because there is a point in the match where Billy Gunn tries to get in the ring and the ref stops him. And Billy Gunn gets so mad to the point that he's like, "Goddamn ref, you suck!"
That's like the best part.
And they only bleep out like the first part of it.
Ref, you suck. And you can hear the crowd, they're all laughing and stuff like
Oh, they were cheering. And folks, I apologize. I don't ever say that, like hardly ever, but this one instance, you gotta let me have this one. Just let me have this one. Outlaws win the match. That's all you need to know.
Very exciting.
Meltzer gave this a star. All right. So after we get the replay again of Austin being screwed, we are told that the winner of this match is going to be like not only like the brand new champion, it's like their first time holding the belt. And that's one of the things I like about these tournaments, like this tournament and the WrestleMania 4 tournament, is you go into it, you have a greater odd of basically someone winning it for the first time more than you have, someone winning it a second time or a third time.
Yeah. Well, because usually when they do tournaments, it's kind of to crown someone that you didn't expect to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gives you a better, like if you go through all the wrestling tournaments, I don't think like the number one star would probably have won very often.
Right.
So, and this, like a lot of people probably had Undertaker versus Stone Cold in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of Rock's kind of like the number 2 baby face. Mankind's like he's the corporate pick kind of.
Right.
So you might have assumed that he would be there at the end. But yeah, it's a pretty good tournament, honestly.
So the final match, no time limit. There's got to be a winner. Mm-hmm. Mankind versus The Rock. But before we get to that, Vince and Shane are back in the building. Yeah. And they tell the boss man, you go on take the rest of the night off. We've got this last match personally. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
This is my favorite match of the show. Like I understand, Mankind and Austin, because that is a really good match. It is. But this one, it just for me is just barely better than Austin Mankind. Because these guys go all out for the belt. And what I like about it, yes, Vince and Shane are there, but they never get involved in the match. It's like we're letting these guys go at it. It's going to be best man wins, mano a mano.
Yeah.
They're on the outside. At one point, Mankind grabs steel steps. Rock hits the steps with a chair. Mankind like collapses on his back, and Rock's hitting him over and over and over again on the steps, and this crowd is freaking loving it.
Yeah,
And
the crowd rock.
yeah, and then there's another good spot where they're at the Spanish announce table. Rock is no, actually, both tables, because there's one spot where Mankind like barely hits a leg drop on the Rock on like JR and Jerry's table. And then a little later, Mankind's like half, or Rock's half laying on the Spanish table, and Mick does the dive and he misses, but it's like a perfect shot. And the table just disintegrates.
Yeah.
And then you have like these near falls. Mankind gets the mandible claw on Rock. You think he's gonna do it. He's gonna win. Rock manages to get up. He hits a rock bottom, goes for the cover, can only get a 2 count. And then he tries it again, but could only get a 2 count.
Yep.
And then the finish. Mankind or Rock looks at the McMahons, raises the eyebrow.
Yep. Vince raises it back.
Puts on the sharpshooter. Vince calls for the bell. Wait, what?
Where have I seen this?
Rock's music plays. So the Rock wins? Rock wins the title? And then, Vince and Shane, they look at the Rock. Rock looks at Vince and Shane.
They all hug.
And they all hug.
They all screwed us.
They were in on it all along.
Yep.
So Vince is like, I'll explain, but not till tomorrow night on Raw. So it's like, oh, great. Now I got to watch Raw to find out why they really did it. So, they give, their little talk. Vince says the people screwed the people. Shane, that was an Academy Award winning performance. And then Rock talks, and then Mankind grabs the mic and he's like, Dad, because he called Vince Dad.
Yep.
Leading up to this. He's like, I don't get it. The match is supposed to end on a pinfall or a submission, and Rock's a good wrestler, but I never submitted. What's going on? And Vince is like, you don't understand? You don't get it? Well, get this. Rock hits him with the belt, and he hits another rock bottom. Shane grabs the mic, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, your winner and new champion, the corporate champion, The Rock. And then the best line of the night, is when the first set of words come out of The Rock's music plays. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? And JR's like, yeah, and it stinks.
I love JR.
Oh my gosh. So as they're celebrating, Austin makes his way back to the building. He sees Rock, Vince, and Shane with the belt. So they're like, come on, big guy. Come and
Yep.
get it. Austin starts running. Vince and Shane exit the ring. Rock and Austin fight. Austin hits a stunner on the Rock. And then he looks at Mankind, who's pulling himself up. He gives Mankind a stunner. And then he goes to the outside. He beats up Rock with the belt. And you got to send the people home happy in some way.
It was very similar to like when Hogan lost, when he came back and then he got to pose and do the ear thing
Right.
with it. Yeah.
So
That
that
was
is
really happy.
Survivor Series 98. Meltzer gave this final match 3.5 stars.
Was that his number one rating then?
That is his number one rating.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I would have put this final match second
Yeah.
of like if we're ranking them. I probably would have gave it like a B minus or B range. So I'm with Meltzer on that one. I just think the Mankind and Austin, all the like like Shane coming down and the double bird and that the flip there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a crowd change
Oh,
that quickly? Now there's one that people will refer to, and that's when Austin joined McMahon at WrestleMania 17. But the crowd didn't flip on Austin. They
no,
only started cheering for McMahon. That's how much Texas loves Stone Cold.
exactly. Um,
Because they were all like they were 100% Rock in that final match, and then as soon as everything happened with the eyebrow and the sharpshooter, it was like the crowd was all pro Mankind after that.
honestly, I can't think as far as WWF, WWE goes, I can't think of any turn like that.
Yeah,
But
like
here's
like stuff happens and then like character changes, but like in a match for a crowd to flip like that,
here's what makes that turn so good
maybe Brett and Austin should do it.
is is the week, the 2 weeks prior, you know, Vince just hates The Rock, detests The Rock. He doesn't want The Rock to succeed, and he's so over.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh, there's, Rock's not gonna turn. He's our guy. He's our, he's the champ. He's the people's champion. And then when he does it, it's done so well, you know, which is why, because I've had a talk in the past with a friend of mine whose name is the same name as a current basketball player in the NBA. It rhymes with Devin Durant.
Nice, same name.
Mm-hmm. Although we joke like he's the original Kevin Durant, he's the original KD, so he should
Well,
sue the other KD.
if he's older,
he is by a few years.
he's original.
But anyway, we had this talk about both tournaments. This was a long time ago. Both are good tournaments, WrestleMania 4 and Survivor Series.
Hmm.
Survivor Series, I think, has the better overall story told
For sure.
of the tournaments.
But they're very similar.
They are very similar.
Where you have two guys going in to the tournament that you assume one of them's going to leave with the title,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have two separate guys that are in the finals
Yeah.
that expect to be there. The only thing like that would be like if Randy Savage turned heel to win the title. That's the only thing that was different
Right.
between the two, because they even had like the buys to get like certain guys to face each other, so Hogan and Andre face each other at 4. But I almost like the Deadly Game tournament and overall better than the 4 tournament.
I mean, it for me, it's close.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go round by round. from, I guess we'll go from our least favorite round to our favorite round of the tournament.
Okay. My least favorite round is round one. My second favorite round, or my okay, so then round two would be my
Second least favorite.
my next least favorite.
Yeah.
Um, and then the final would be my third pick, I guess.
Okay, so your second favorite,
And then my favorite was
the semi.
Stone Cold Mankind and
Same
Undertaker and
here.
Rock.
Okay, I agree with you on the bottom two. I definitely agree with you on the bottom two.
Because and that's no fault. It's just how it had to
Oh,
be.
exactly.
You
It's
have to get rid of the Al Snows and the Jeff Jarrett's
right.
before you get into the main eventers.
Because, and this was something that I was thinking about when I watched the show and then a little bit after the show was, could you have put anybody else on that roster in that tournament? And to me, the answer is no. I really don't think you could have.
Yeah, like I think they had the right amount.
They have the right people.
Um, because Rock, if Rock faced Triple H instead of Boss Man in 4 seconds, I don't know. Like it was good. Like they had enough matches, but they had a few like really quick
Yeah.
matches to get you there. Like it was a 12 match tournament, right? And
I believe it was.
it got packed into a 3 hour show. Like it's pretty incredible how they did that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12 match tournament.
Okay, so the
Uh,
star the
Oh,
star of the show.
hold
The
on,
star
real quick for me. I have the finals as my favorite, then the semifinals, but again, it's real
is close.
close.
Okay, who's your star of the pay-per-view and who's honorable mention?
Oh my god.
Because this is a new segment that I brought up just
Yeah.
last, and it was totally happened organically.
Okay. I'm going to give an honorable mention to the St. Louis crowd. They were hot all night. I have said, and like I've thought this in my mind many times. You know, we talk about New York, Chicago, Montreal, Toronto having great wrestling fans. St. Louis has great wrestling fans, and this shows. Um, oh my god, the star of the show.
And like it doesn't have to be somebody that we're not predicting.
Right.
Like it could be The Rock, it could be Mankind.
I'm gonna go Mankind. I could go Mankind or Rock, but I think I'm gonna go with Mankind because it's like you kind of go into it thinking this is the guy they're going for, and then you get to the finals and it's like he
My,
could really
so
win this.
so Mankind is my star because he starts off as the handpicked guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then by the end of the night, he's got sympathy from the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrestled the most matches. He had a hell of a night.
He
He
did.
put a lot of hard work in. He had some really good matches. Honorable mentions, Big Boss Man. Come on,
Yeah,
how many matches or how many segments was he in?
at least 5, maybe
He
more.
went 0-2. He interfered in 2 other matches. He missed his spot. He should have been out there for a sixth time. But honorable
Oh
mention
man. Yeah.
goes to Big Boss Man. What? No, I don't think we're ever going to really talk about Big Boss Man. We might one day, but
Maybe.
what was your what's your take on like his return to the company in like the late 90s?
I
With
thought it was well done because, you know, when you saw him as a kid, it's like he's the good guy, law enforcement
yeah,
officer.
he was a little bit more of a wholesome police guy that you kind of cheered for.
Yeah, kind of, you know, like country kind of
Yeah.
folk. Whereas here it's like he's basically a hired assassin.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Brought him back to do that stuff to Austin.
And I think as far as, a big guy goes, he's underrated as a big guy.
For sure.
So
But like when he was wrestling, he didn't seem like a big guy because there's so many big guys.
right, there's so many.
Like when he's facing Hulk Hogan in the early '90s, like Hogan's bigger than him.
Mm-hmm. Like, look
Um,
at the match at WrestleMania 6 he has with Akeem.
yeah, the team and what were they had a tag team, right? What
Yeah,
was
they were
that?
the Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers, yeah.
I know. Mhm.
WrestleMania 6 is such a good show.
It is. It's one of my favorite shows ever.
We might have to when we get to WrestleMania season, we might have to.
Okay. Now, I do want to mention real quick my one complaint about the show. Not,
Sable,
not the actual show itself, but like as far as how it's presented.
freaking Sable.
No, not even Sable. Sable actually gets a pass on this.
Oh wow. Okay.
They did so much censoring on this show of middle fingers, swear words, and yet when Billy Gunn after the match pulls his trunks down and you can see his butt with his thong, they don't censor that.
He had a thong on, so it's okay.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. All right. So since this is our last show before Thanksgiving here in the US, I enjoyed doing this the last time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look at what happened Thanksgiving Day 1998. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than the previous one
We're
because,
talking football again, or is it something else?
hmm?
Are we talking football scores?
Oh, yeah, we're going to mention football.
Okay, good.
I'll just mention real quick the TV that night is not that notable. You had your choice of either on ABC watching a Winnie the Pooh Thanksgiving.
Oh shit.
CBS, you could have watched Grumpy Old Men. Fox, you could have watched Jumanji. And it doesn't say anything about NBC, so I'm going to guess, this is a guess, they had Home Alone.
Okay, so hold on a second. Is this Thanksgiving? Or
Yeah.
is it like no planes, trains, automobiles anywhere?
No,
Like
not on the networks.
that's one of the top Thanksgiving movies. Come on, people.
I know. Okay.
I
So,
might have to watch that after we stop recording.
all right. So let's start with the 72nd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, hosted by Katie Couric, Matt Lauer, and Al Roker. They had rainy skies and gusting winds. So remember that for in a minute or two. We have new balloons this year, not too many. We have Babe the pig. We're supposed to have the Wild Thing from Where the Wild Things Are, the book. And we have Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. Did you ever see that show?
I don't think so.
Oh, that was a good show.
Dexter. Okay.
Dexter's Laboratory. They also had giant balloons of Big Bird, Barney, Garfield, Arthur, Peter Rabbit, Spider-Man, Rugrats, the Nestle Quick Bunny, and Eben Bear for John Deere. I don't know who that is.
Did you say Arthur?
Arthur, yeah.
Like the cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a wonderful kind of day.
Yeah.
Okay. Celebrities. Oh my goodness. We got a bunch of nobodies here.
All right.
We got Martina McBride. We've got the stars of Sesame Street. We've got Eric McCormick and Deborah Messing from Will and Grace. Barney the Dinosaur. We've got this band I've never heard of, 98 Degrees.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't heard of them.
Right.
Probably got like 11 songs on your playlist.
Rockapella. And then we got another band I've never heard of, In Sync.
They're just released a new album, actually. 25 years later. Wow.
We had Kenny Rogers, the gambler himself. We had the Toms River, New Jersey Little League World Series team because they won the Little League World Series that year. We had Joe Torre, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and Graham Lloyd of the New York Yankees. We had Monica. We had the band Chicago, the Pointer Sisters, and Santa Claus all there.
Nice.
Now, this is where it kind of gets a little funny. Remember how I said the weather was rainy and had winds?
Please tell me one of those balloons went flying.
Well, it caused some balloons and floats to not make an appearance. It includes the blue geometric ornament that was punctured by an unknown obstacle the night before the parade. This is courtesy of the Macy's Thanksgiving fandom site, by the way. A chamber inside the Garfield balloon burst on 77th Street, and due to the damages, the balloon was taken out of the lineup. Spider-Man's stomach tore open and was removed.
Oh, man. All the kids are crying in the front row. Like, no!
Because there was a lack of handlers for the Nestle Quick Bunny, it caused the balloon to go out of control that eventually was punctured and deflated by a tree. A gust of wind pushed the Wild Thing into a lamppost on 77th Street, tearing a 10-foot long gash in its left side. The damage was deemed too extensive and the balloon was removed from the lineup. And Dexter's right.
That gash is too long. Get it out of there.
And Dexter's right rocket was deflated during his debut march. He would be able to survive the route, though.
This is incredible.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I hope everyone didn't just like stop listening when we were done talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
Because this Macy's Day stuff,
I might have to look this one up.
This might have to continue.
Yeah. Okay.
We might just have to do like November shows from now on so we can
You know, actually yesterday, because I was trying to find some Thanksgiving stuff on YouTube, then I'm gonna get to the football. Someone had the 1959 Macy's parade up.
No way.
Unfortunately, there was no Survivor Series that year, so we can't talk about that. Okay. So this day of Thanksgiving football, DK, may be, depending on who you are, the most famous or most infamous day of Thanksgiving football ever.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
The first game, the Detroit Lions beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime 19-16. This is the game, the infamous wrong coin call. This is the game.
I said tails. Heads is a goal.
Yep.
I said tails. Heads wins.
The Lions go to 5-7 on this day. The Steelers go 7-5.
That's a big swing game there.
Yeah. For those curious, running back lovers, Jerome Bettis, 26 carries for 67 yards. Barry Sanders, 20 carries, 33 yards.
Wow, that's a pretty bad game for running backs.
I know.
26 carries for 67 yards. That's like barely 2 yards a carry. Not good.
And the other game that took place on Thanksgiving Day 1998, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Dallas Cowboys
Woo!
46-36.
Was this the Randy Moss game?
This is the Randy Moss game.
3 touchdowns on 3 catches.
Yep.
When they
Three
passed up.
touchdowns, 163 yards. Vikings go to 11-1 after this game. Cowboys go to 8-4.
And they Dallas could have drafted Moss and
They could have.
passed on him. So he's like,
Yep.
you know what?
And Randy was a Cowboys fan growing up.
I don't know. How could they not draft one of their own? What a horrible organization. Anyways.
You would think if they had drafted Randy Moss, they could have won another Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think they probably would have.
So that's what happened Thanksgiving Day, 1998. So that's going to do it for the show. We'll do our quick plugs. You can join our Facebook group, the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. It's real simple.
Just type it in. We're the only ones.
Type it in, yeah. And
we're getting lots of listens. I'm very happy about that. But our Facebook group is still, it's not growing the way we want it to grow. So please join it.
Yes.
Reach out to us if you have any problems joining it. So yeah, it'd be great to get more people in here and interacting with us and stuff.
And don't forget, if you like the show, please give us a review wherever you listen to it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us good ratings, good reviews. The more that people know about us, more people will know.
Get more listens that way, which is kind of the goal here.
Yeah. All right. So next time around, DK, we are going to preview the Survivor Series of this year next time. Because it is right around the corner. It's the return of War Games. And we're going to do our profile on the Honky Tonk Man, 1987 to 1989. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, that should be fun.
And we should get to visit most of his Intercontinental title reign.
I think we'll have the entire reign, actually.
We should have, pretty much the entire thing there. So that should be a fun show.
Yeah.
And to preview
the Survivor Series.
There's still like
a week to go.
Still up in the air stuff. Is Randy Orton going to come back?
Let me see.
They're still holding their breath for CM Punk to come back. I don't see that happening.
They have added 2 new matches while we were recording tonight. So we have SmackDown. 5 matches now.
That's one thing about recording Friday night is that I don't watch SmackDown live anymore. I used to watch it live.
Well, then I will not spoil the new matches. I'll let you find out.
You can tell me. I watch the show.
They announced tonight the Women's War Games match.
Okay.
And Carlito against Santos Escobar.
Okay.
So we will preview those. Any other matches next week?
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick to our American listeners, you guys here with me, have a happy Thanksgiving, safe Thanksgiving, have fun, spend time with your friends, your family, your loved ones. Try to make this Thanksgiving the best Thanksgiving you can possibly have. And
we just need the Cowboys to lose and everybody will be happy, right?
Yeah. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of DK here when I say that we are really thankful for you guys, the listeners. They keep, plugging the show. We have made the Apple Podcast charts in Canada many times this year. We'll probably be back on there again before this year is out. But this wouldn't be possible without you guys.
Definitely. I really appreciate it. I kind of wish I could thank everyone that listens to it. Personally, I would. So if find a way to do that, we can do it.
So thank you guys for tuning in for this episode of the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. Have a great week. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you live in the US, and come back next week for a brand new show. Have a good week, everyone.